Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, folks, depending on whatever time frame you guys are based in. I am based in London, so good afternoon from myself. If you guys can hear me well, and of course, if you can see my screen clearly, please do give me a sound check and screen check by saying yes or no. Okay, great. Good to see you, Leonard, and I hope that you are doing well, and more importantly, your trading is also going well. And of course, good afternoon to everyone else, and thanks everyone for replying back that you guys can hear me loud and clear. Thank you. Now, today's webinar is focused on the US non-farm payroll data, which is the most important economic number, why that is important, why that represents opportunity for you guys. We will discuss all of that at a later stage. But every Wednesday, we have a different webinar covering different asset classes, covering different subjects altogether. So I highly recommend you guys to always make avail of these particular opportunities, because when I started trading, and I will go about my background and everything else in a bit, these opportunities weren't there. Nonetheless, here we are. So today's webinar is going to be pretty much focusing on how to trade the US NFP. We will also look at the live market price action, which will be happening in 15 minutes, and how you could really replicate that particular price action going into Friday as well, because there's going to be so much similarity. So today is full with exciting opportunities, because not only we will see opportunity, what is going to happen today, we are also going to look at the opportunities that is replication of those ones taking place on Friday as well. Right. So bit about myself. My name is Naeem Aslam. My current position at EverProtect is, of course, I had the market analysis department as a chief analyst. In terms of experience, I come with 15 years of trading experience. I have worked with Bank of America, with Bank of New York Mellon in equity trading, and of course in hedge fund trading as well. Some of you may have heard my voice previously on CNBC, Bloomberg, and other media, where we do regular contribution on weekly basis discussing various aspects of markets. So if you haven't seen it, make sure that you kind of follow on Twitter, so you will get all that information on there as well. My Twitter handle is there for you as well, so if you wanted to follow. Now, in terms of a social media, AvaTrade's social channels are in front of you. So we have Telegram, we have Twitter, and YouTube, where we put all the major important market moving analysis, the breaking news sort of aspect in relation to that. And of course, the recording of this webinar will also be available on the website, on a YouTube channel as well. Now, something for your information, which is EverProtect. This is a revolutionary one-click risk management tool available on the EverTrade web trader, and of course on the EverTrade Go app as well. With EverProtect, you can purchase protection against loss for a defined period after opening a position. If the protection ends and you have an open position that is losing, EverTrade will reimburse the loss directly into your trading account. The only cost is the EverProtect fee itself. As always, it is important for me to go through this risk warnings and risk disclaimers. They are right in front of you. If you have any questions in relation to that, please feel free to get in touch with your own account managers. And remember, this particular webinar is only and only for education purposes as well. You should not perceive anything as an advice. If you are looking for an advice, do consult with your own financial advisors, as I am not aware of your financial risk or your financial risk tolerance profile. Now, are you guys ready? And if you guys are ready, then let's make a start. So for those of you who have attended some of these particular series, because some of the study questions are very same as the previous ones, so why don't you guys help me to understand the first one, the why the US NFP data is so important. What is really, why is this particular reading is so important? Why traders and investors pay really close attention to this particular data? Can you give me an example? Can you give me there is some explanation on that one? So for the first 30 questions, because I want everyone to participate. And remember, there's no right and wrong questions. If I kind of wanted to know that what you guys know about this one kind of gives me that insight into your thinking process, or into your gets me how it helps me to understand your understanding of that as well. So there you go. So people are saying that this tells us about the US non-farm payroll, the US economy, the labor economy, the health of that is absolutely true. So the importance of the US non-farm payroll data is that the Federal Reserve, which is the central bank over in the United States, pays very, very close attention to this particular data. Why? Because they fine-tune their monetary policy on the back of this particular number. So when they see that the US labor market is improving, right? When the labor market is improving in the United States, what they do is they said, okay, economy is faring better, so they become more hawkish in terms of their monetary policy. Okay, I'm just gonna type here. So that's the one that they will do. So when this one becomes better, they do this one. So they become more hawkish. Now, when this one, labor market begins to soften up, or it begins to show weakness or crackness, then obviously the central bank, the Federal Reserve, does not adopt a hawkish monetary policy, but what they adopt is what we call a dovish monetary policy. And under that one, what really happened is they begin to cut interest rate, they begin to print money in the economy. In the hawkish monetary policy, they begin to increase interest rate. Okay, so the interest rate right now, as we know, they're going higher. They start to print. They don't print money in the economy. In fact, they start to reduce the size of the balance sheet. Right, so they reduce the size of the balance sheet, they increase the interest rate over here, they reduce the interest rate over here, and they increase the size of the monetary of money into the economy. So that is quite important for you guys to make to have a very clear understanding of these particular aspects of that. So that so when this particular data comes out, and it comes out on Friday, and what time it comes out? It comes out at 1:30 p.m. London time again. So whatever your time frames, they are very different. Now, what makes the US NFP reading? What are the ingredients of the US NFP reading? So one of the most important ingredient of this one is what they call the private employment market, because on Friday you're going to get the overall picture of the US labor market, how's everything faring, what is the actual status of that. But today we only see the private, it doesn't include the government employment and all that kind of stuff. Today we just see that, okay, how the private is, but they mimic each other quite well, because if the private employment is strong, that means that yes, the overall economy or overall employment number is also likely to be strong as well. So there's a very decent correlation between that one as well, between these two numbers. So today's number is going to be coming in at 1:15 p.m. London time. Right now the time is 13:09 or 1:09. So in about 6 minute time, we're going to see pretty decent market reaction in the market. We're going to see, gold prices moving higher, oil to the downside. We're going to see currency markets moving. We're going to see commodity markets moving. We're going to see indices moving as well. And of course, the European stock market, which is already trading right now, we are also going to see pretty decent price action over there as well. Does that make sense to you guys? Any questions so far? And then I just wanted to make sure that our newbies, our traders who are new to this particular market, who have just recently started, that they understand really that what we have covered so far. So what we covered so far is the importance of the US non-farm payroll data, which is that it is the most important economic numbers. It not only influences the US markets, it influences every single market, because we will see the European markets also moving on the back of that one. We will also see the implication of that in the Asian markets, and of course the Australian market when that opens, because right now obviously it's closed. So we see the reaction across the board for this particular market. So it's quite an important one to really pay attention to. Now, what makes the US NFP reading? There are two things. One is called private market, and one is called, obviously, one is not so private market, which is your general market. So you know, both of them are very, very important. But the private market, which we are looking at, the data which we are looking at today, is going to be coming at what, 13:15 or in a 5-minute time, and then we will see the market reacting to that. If the employment is improving, if the employment market shows strength, then what we are likely to see is the Federal Reserve, which is the central bank over in the United States, adopting a more hawkish monetary policy. And that means higher interest rate and more control on the balance sheet, meaning less dollar printing in the economy. But when there is a dovish monetary policy, that means reducing the interest rate, cutting interest rate. We saw that during COVID crisis when the interest rates were very, very down. And at the same time, we saw several different monetary policy measures, such as printing more money, providing more support to businesses, and the balance sheet expanding because the Federal Reserve begins to purchase assets to just boost the economy, the confidence in the system. So that's about that. Now, what instruments to trade over here? Now we're going to go into really nitty-gritty details over here. So what do you guys, can you guys give me a little bit, and can you give me an idea? Can maybe throw something over here, that what do you think, what instruments can we trade on the back of that? Because I have touched on these ones earlier, that what instruments can we trade. So why don't you guys give me what's your favorite instrument to really trade on the back of the US non-farm payroll data? What do you like to trade? Do you actually guys trade the US non-farm payroll data? Because if you are a day trader, you know, and you're looking for those bigger moves, this is a particular event where by far which brings the most amount of volatility in the market. Okay, so Rafael is saying that he likes to trade the he likes to trade the euro dollar. So he's more into the currency market, which is absolutely great, you know, because that is what exactly really happens on the back of that. Because the euro dollar, we will see pretty big movements when this particular data will come out. Now it's less than 2 minutes time. So let me show you something, and then before we go any further, so let me resume this. So you guys can see my screen again. Now you can see something different. So over here, you can see 1:15 p.m. This is Forex Factory. You can see it on our website, AvaTrade's website as well, the Forex calendar. What we see is that over here, we are expecting the US private employment market to show a data of 382. The previous reading was 455. Now anything which is above 382 is really going to bring a lot of interesting price action in the market. So what you have in front of you is the chart for the euro dollar. It's like when Rafael likes to trade that. Now we are looking at the daily time frame on this one, but obviously I'm going to change that to 1 minute time frame, because that is where we're going to see pretty decent movements. And I'm also going to bring my MT4 platform at the same time over here as well. And we're going to look at the euro dollar's price action very quickly, because the time is very much of essence right now. So far we see that the euro dollar is in a massive downward trend. There you go, that's a big downtrend that we have seen. So we're going to bring the 15-minute time frame, and we're going to see where are the opportunities when the data will come. So really what I wanted to see is, I would like to see the prices coming over here. I like to see if the data is very strong, dollar picks up stream. We're going to see it over here. And in terms of a resistance, if the data is weak, the dollar comes over here, then there you go, this is the number that we're looking at. So now you will see that the moment this candle is going to finish off, we got less than 20 seconds left now. This is going to see a massive momentum to the upside or equally to the downside when this will really happen. So watch this particular price action. We can also, there you go, the day we are onto it. Now let's quickly see what the number is. So far I don't see the number yet, but the number should be out. Let's just quickly see it. If we see the number, if the number is released, and keep an eye over here as well on the price action. So euro is kind of moving to the downside, what we see from here as well. Still the number, I think the number must have been very much in line with the expectations, because there you go, 247, so weaker than expectation. That is the number which has really come up. So the employment market is actually showing weakness, because last month we see a really good number, 455. This time we were expecting 382. The number has come to 247. So not too much of a difference, but overall a little bit of a weakness, but not enough weakness for the Federal Reserve to change its monetary policy stance, meaning the Federal Reserve tonight at 7 p.m. London time, we're going to see another important economic event when the Federal Reserve will announce its monetary policy decision, and we are expecting for the Fed to increase the interest rate by 50 basis points. So you will see the euro dollar moving very, very rapidly at that time as well. Let's look at gold prices at the same time as well, see what the price action has been over here. Again, very, very muted price action, not much happening over here. Let's look at AvaTrade's web trader as well. So now I'm going to search different instrument over here, gold. Let's see what gold's price action is really looking like over here. Again, not much happening. We are very much trading at 1867, so not really great. Now, what instruments can you really trade on the back of this particular data? So you can trade US 500, okay, which is the S&P 500 index. On Friday, this is going to see very, very decent price action. This is the sort of a price action that we are really looking at. The support zone over here, this is your resistance zone. So mark these particular price levels on your calendar, in your diary, and then watch for the price action to come into this one. This is your support, this is your resistance. In terms of the US tech, the NASDAQ tech index, that's also going to be moving pretty decent on Friday as well, or even tonight as well. So again, no price action, no really major movement today. Now, in terms of the price action, what we're really looking at, we're looking at the support zone coming in around the bottom of this particular consolidation zone. So this is the area where we expect the prices to come in. This becomes our resistance zone over here, and we can quickly look at that, the one more index, which is your US 30. So I'm going to bring that US 30 index over here. We got some questions as well. I like to trade Brent oil. Deviana is saying that she likes to trade Brent oil. That is pretty decent, because you know everything kind of really moves when this particular data comes. We see gold prices moving, we see everything else. So there you go, US 30 index. We're going to go to daily time frame on this one, not hourly or anything, because now we're defining those particular important price levels, and we wanted to see that how far can we really go to find a really reasonable sort of a really decent sort of a price level. So I'm going to draw my trend line over here, my support line. What I like to see is I like to see the prices coming into this particular area. So this, do you see this candle? This is my first sort of a call of action. So I want, if the prices come, if the price will come, if it falls into this area, which it has recently, as you can see, prices have moved. So this is a really, really great area to buy, and still remains a great area to buy. And then after that, if price doesn't respect that, then I'm going to be looking at the lows of these particular candles. So that's my second support area for Friday, and between now and until Friday as well. And if this doesn't even work and the price continues to fall even further, then we are going to be looking at over here. So these are three important support areas that we are very much looking at in terms of the S&P 500 index. Number one area, number two area, number three area, going into the S&P 500, going into this particular so basically this is the area that we are very much looking at going into the US non-farm payroll data. Now, in terms of our resistance, well, one thing that I kind of really is annoying me right now over here is that I like to keep all of my support zones in green color, because it just kind of makes things easier for me. And then you guys should also do that, because when I wanted to look at the chart, I wanted to see which one is my support. I don't want it to get confused with anything. All what you got to do that is click on it. Come on, should work. Technology, all right. Right, okay. Why is not doing that? So let's put the resistance zone over here. And if I click on it, there you go. That wheel over here, you can change the color from this one to red. And I'm gonna do it same over here. I'm gonna change this wheel to green. So all what we're doing is just keeping things consistent over here. And then this kind of gives you guys an opportunity as well at the same time that what do you want to, you wanted to make a note of particular price levels going into Friday's price action, because this is where it's gonna be great. So again, this one, we'll change it to green over here, and one more over here. Now we have clearly defined our support zones and our resistance zone. I can put one more line over here to define my resistance. And again, I'm going to change that over here to my red color. Now, any questions in relation to that? So this is your S&P 500 index. The chart is daily. This is my support zone number 1. Okay. And then let me just write that down for you guys over here. This is support number 1. This is my support number 2. This is my support number 3. So I'm waiting for going into Friday for the prices to come over here. The price did come over here. As you can see, the price kind of moved sharply up, and then it came back into this one. Now it's kind of struggling to move back higher, which gives me an indication that we may see the prices coming into this particular area. And if it does, then I'm very happy to buy it anywhere over here. In terms of my target, this is my resistance area number 1, and then that is the minimum target I am very much willing to look at in terms of my trade. Any questions in relation to these particular price levels for the US 500? All right, okay. So seems like everyone is happy with that one. So let's do the same thing for the for the NASDAQ as well. Now I'm switching the platform to the MT4. So because we have two different type of traders, we have traders who like to trade on MT4 and traders who like to trade on EverTrade Go app. How many people are actually trading on EverTrade Go app or on MT4? Just give me some idea so that we have a bit more, you know, clarity on that. So this is my support area number 1. Okay, so that's the one that I'm focused on. Again, I'm going to change the color for this one. So in order to change the color, just double click on them like that, and then right click horizontal line properties. So you see that you get the knowledge for both of these particular platforms. So more people seems to be still trading on MT4, which is absolutely fine. But obviously, AvaTrade is like our own, their own platform is pretty decent as well. It's very, very good as well. So there you go. So I've just changed them. So that's my support area number 1. I'm looking at this particular area. The reason that I'm looking at this particular area is because this is where that massive rally really happened. And this area just kind of lost its retraction altogether. So now the prices are moving into this area. Now, the one question is coming is that what if the price falls further from here? What is the next area that I'm looking at? The next area that I am very much looking at in terms of the price action is going to be further down over here, and that is over here. So that is the next area of support. Now again, support lines need to be in green color. So just to redefine that, just make it a little bit more narrow, because I don't like to keep the areas too big, because the bigger the area, the bigger the losses. Okay, so the question is coming that what do you mean by how do you really consider, or how do you position in these particular areas? That's a really great question. So let's say that the price now on Friday, it violates this particular price action, the likely chances are. Now, as the price comes into this particular area, anywhere in between that, I'm very happy to buy. Now, in terms of my stop loss, I'm going to place it just below that 10,926, or maybe 10,920. That's where I would put my stop loss. So I would buy it anywhere. So either you can buy it as the price enters into it, or the second strategy is that you can buy it as the price leaves this area, right? So you can just buy anything above 11,107. Still place your stop loss below 10,920. The other strategy is wait for the price to retest it, right? Wait for the price to retest it and then buy it again, or on that one. So you have 3 to 1. 1, when the price comes into it. 2, when the price leaves this particular area, so above this line. 3 is the retest, when the price comes again to that area. But usually I like to do it the second one, so retest, and then if I'm proven wrong, that's fine, and if not, then I'll just get back into that area once again. So it's not a big deal for me. Does that answer your question? The same thing happens over here in terms of resistance. I just kind of really, the moment that I kind of get close to my target of that 14,000 and so on and so much, I just take it on the first line as it kind of goes close to that one, and that's it from the particular price point. All right. So now with something, because obviously these are pretty decent and pretty big price levels that we are kind of finding. Now you may be wondering, what are these moving averages? This is your 50-day simple moving average. This is your 100-day simple moving average, and this one over here in green is your 200-day simple moving average. Now the price is currently trading below the 50, 100, and 200-day simple moving average. 50 is trading below the 200-day simple moving average. That crossover that happened over here. What this tells us, all of that, it is telling us that the prices are very bearish for the US 100, for the NASDAQ, right? We want the price to break above that 50-day simple moving average. Now, what I usually do is look at the signal for that to happen a little bit earlier, and I go into 4-hour or 30-minute time frame to really look at that. Because the moment the sort of a price breaks on the 4-hour time frame above the 50-day simple moving average, which is likely to happen, any day, is going to give me an earlier signal at the same time. And then on the 30-minute time frame, I see that can the price maintain its momentum above the 50-day simple moving average? Because if the price cannot stay above the 50-day simple moving average over here, it just doesn't give me that confirmation that this breakout over here that is about to happen is going to be any real. What you really wanted to see is you wanted to see the RSI over here, the relative strength index, also near its oversold area, at least on the daily time frame, which we have now. On the daily time frame, we have the RSI in an oversold area, which brings a pretty decent opportunity. On the 4-hour time frame, we have the price near its 50-day simple moving average, so confirming that yes, prices are likely to move to the upside pretty decently very soon. But if in terms of the support area, if it lines up with the support area, it's even better. And to a certain extent, it is lining up to in this particular support area. So if we just change this one to look at this one, the price is lining up with this support area. So we have a support area over here as well, and over here as well. So these are two particular areas. So for traders who are just like, oh God, there's so many support areas, what should we do? Just increase them over here. Take them from here to all the way to here. So that is your support area. In terms of your risk, your total risk is still not that big, because what we're looking at is this being your total risk. That's your risk. In terms of your reward, you are still looking at over here, all the way to here. So you have more than 2 to 1 ratio, which on the daily time frame perspective, or from the day trading perspective, is what you really kind of wanted to look for. You want to look for trades which gives you 3 to 1 risk to reward ratio, or at least 2 to 1 risk to reward ratios. So this is something that's quite important. So again, to revise everything on our on this particular platform, we have the S&P 500 index, Dow Jones Industrial Average. We have the support zone over here, support zone number 2, support zone number 3, and then this is your resistance level number 1. So to go back to our presentation, and let me just do that. So to summarize everything else, so we had the US non-farm private, we had the US private numbers coming out today. They have shown that the labor market isn't that strong. That has set a tone not so strong for the labor market to come out on Friday. In addition to that, we've also discussed that the markets are going to be very, very volatile today at 7 p.m. because that is when the Federal Reserve is going to announce its monetary policy decision. I want you to look at that particular decision. The interest rate is expected to be 50 basis points. And when that will happen, the market's going to see massive momentum to the upside or to the downside. So keep an eye on these particular price levels, and we will see you guys same place, same time next week. Until then, stay safe.